for Pitts. Intercepted by Ray Hubble, who may go all the way again. He's going to be cut off near the sideline. He was tripped by a man standing in front of the Winnipeg bench.
First down, Edmonton with the football. McManus going up top for Eddie Brown. What a catch! Eddie Brown! Touchdown, Edmonton! Penalty markers down all over the field.
Illegal substitution, too many men on the field, Saskatchewan.
From 33 yards out to win the 97th Grey Cup. Ball down, ball through.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Football A podcast. And this week, as I mentioned already, we have a very special guest. His name, Isaac Adeyemi-Berglund. Did I get that right?
You got it right. Yeah, that's good. That's perfect.
Oh God, who would have guessed? By the way, maybe let's start there. Okay, here we'll do this. It's Mr. Berglund from the Montreal Alouettes, currently terrorizing the CFL for my Montreal Alouettes. Second in sacks last year. I believe you're tied second again right now. Excited to have you on. I think I'm going to start there, though. First question, like IAB, do we have like the Isaacberg? I've thought about that for like a good nickname because you're, like I said, you're dominating right now. I feel like we need a good nickname because It's a long name. That's all I'm saying.
100%. I got, the guys on the team, they just call me Berg or Bergs. That's just what I'm called. But, some people have called me IAB before, which is, I don't know, like it's something just has to pop up for it to stick. I don't really know. I just go by Berg or Bergs. That's just me. But, the name is long. And honestly, like quick backstory, like that's my dad's name and my mom's name put together. So my dad's Nigerian. So Nigerian and my mom has like a Swedish last name. So when I was coming out of high school, it was just Berglund. But when I started this journey, I became obsessed to play Division I football. So, and come from Canada, I had to send emails all the time. So they couldn't see my face. They didn't know who I was. But I just thought if I put this name, I was trying to do everything, every trick that I had. So if I put this name, if I went back to like my government name, Adeyemi-Berglund, maybe they would be like, who is that guy? Like, what a weird name. Like, this guy could be foreign or, we just don't know. So it might make them take a second look. It might stand out a little bit more than another email or another message that they would have gotten. So now, obviously, it's stuck all throughout. It worked.
Yeah.
I played Division I. Now I'm back in the CFL, and now it's just stuck. So that's how it goes. It works for me. I made the deal to get there, and now I have to stay with it. So that's it.
I like it. So that actually that was like my first set of questions is your background, because I do like a little Google Doc, share with Ant, just facts we find doing the background stuff. Obviously, I'm an Owls fan, so I could rattle off the numbers and whatever. But Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, may as well be the top of North America for somebody as ignorant and as American as me. Basically, you may as well just be in the ocean, in the Atlantic Ocean. You go to Champlain College, Lennoxville.
Yeah. So that's out here it's like 2 hours from Montreal.
Yeah, like 2 hours from there, and then from there, you go to I'm from Wisconsin, so like the armpit of the South, maybe that's disrespectful to southeastern Louisiana, but give me that journey out of high school. It sounds like you had to do a lot more work to get the name out there. So you go from Dartmouth to Lennoxville. What's that like for you? And then take me on the ride from there to southeastern Louisiana.
Yeah, So I started playing football when I was 15.
Oh wow!
So obviously, it's not as big as it is out east as it is everywhere else, especially even in Quebec, man. Quebec, the football, I would say Quebec and then out west. I mean, in Toronto too, right? Like in Ontario, but like Quebec, it's really like it's high IQ, advanced. The guys are bigger, stronger, faster, and it's almost like going to prep basically. And I needed that. Like coming out of high school, I had one offer. Not even the team like 5 minutes away from me, St. Mary's University in Canada. They didn't offer me. Mount Allison didn't offer me. St. FX didn't offer me, and these are all local. Those local colleges. Nobody offered me, and the only people that offered me was Acadia, and they offered me $1,000 a year. So you times that by four, that's $4,000 over the span of an entire college degree. And it was a lot for me. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. But in my mind, I wasn't. I obviously in my head, I knew that they didn't want me to play, right? And they even told me, they were like, you could spend a couple years redshirting, be in the gym, be a gym rat, get bigger, stronger, whatever. But that it appealed to me then because that's all I had. But I had a close friend, a mentor of mine. He was up here a couple weeks ago. He brought me to Champlain, which is kind of like a prep if you're looking at it from the outside of Quebec, like a prep school. He brought me there for a May camp, like a spring camp. And I was so raw. I was so raw. I used to play rugby and basketball, and football was fun. I just didn't know. It was just like brute, just strength, running around, force, hitting people. But I had no IQ. So he brought me up there, and I got to actually learn from coaches. And I'm like, whoa, okay, there's this move and there's that move, and there's this footwork, and my eyes should be here, not there. And it just allowed me to play a little bit more faster. And man, there was coaches from all over Canada. There were some D1 coaches there, from close to the border, like Syracuse, Buffalo were there. And my eyes were just open. And I was like, man, I can't go to Acadia, man. And I was good in school too. So my grandparents they were pissed, man. My mom didn't really care. She just wanted whatever I'm happy with doing, she was happy. But my grandparents were a little bit more like, uh, they want me to make cerebral decisions, and they want me to really be smart about my future, especially at that point. I was smart in school. I would have had academic scholarships if I didn't have the football ones going to Acadia, but they were a little bit hesitant. Anyways, I made the decision, went to Champlain for 2 years. My first year, sat on the bench the whole year. I played like kickoff and kickoff return. That was it. Like my highlight tape from my first year at Champlain is all garbage time. And I think I had one sack last game of the year, and it was all kickoff return and kickoff plays. And then my second year, I stayed at Champlain all year long. Didn't really even go home. Practiced every single day. I was on the field every day. I was working every day. And I ended up starting that year. I was all star. We won. We were undefeated. Won the championship. And we're talking about with high caliber players, man. Like I think Ben St. Just played. We played against him. Just we played against a lot of guys that had originated in Quebec, but we swept the board, man. And a lot of guys that are in the CFL today, some even in the NFL from my own team, um, are just around. And we won the championship that year, and I ended up throughout that year. I also went to a lot of camps, so I sold all my shoes. I used to work at Foot Locker. I sold all my shoes to go to these camps. I was in Wisconsin. I was in Wisconsin. I was in Chicago. Like, yeah, I was all these
You're
camps.
telling me this, and this would have been like not. I'm so sorry to cut you off, but this is
Yeah.
like end of like 2010s, right? Like this would have been 2016, 17.
Yeah, 2016.
Oh my goodness, you're telling me like
Yeah, I was
you
there,
could
man.
have been a Badger?
I was over there. I was in Illinois. I was
Oh
actually
God.
one of my good friends. Actually, you know him for sure. I speak to him every now and again, just through like comments, or he's got a pretty busy life. He's a different dude now. Like, he's living a different lifestyle now than me probably. But I trained with him in coming out of college is Zach Bond,
Wow.
and yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my God, you're
Yeah.
telling me you guys could have been dogs together?
Who knows what so much happens in football. But yeah, I was out there. I was in Wisconsin. I went to Ohio State for a camp, and I ended up being in. They had like a Final Five for that camp, like the Final Five D linemen to go against the Final Five O linemen. And I'm talking about I had come from all the way Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. Nobody, no family, nobody. I flew my grandparents were like, don't do it, don't do it. My mom's like, don't do it. I sold everything, and I was like, no, I'm doing it. And I flew all the way down there by myself. I was in Detroit too. Also, I did like Sound Mind, Sound Body camp by myself. But I went to Ohio State for the opening, and there was five O line, five D line throughout the whole camp,
Mm-hmm.
and it was me at one end and Jonathan Cooper at the other end. And when I made it there, when they called my name and it was me and him, I was like, man, this is it. Like finally, this is it. No, regardless of what happens right now, I'm getting my offer for sure. Some team, some school, somewhere is gonna give me something. And at the end of the day, there was nothing. I think I split reps uh, against Tommy Kramer. He was a 5-star recruit going to Notre Dame. And I split reps. I think I won one. He won one. One was kind of like a toss up. But either way, man, it's a lot. You know what I mean? A team would be like, oh, shit. That's what I thought. But regardless, no call. And man, one day, just one random day, I was at school. I had kind of given up. I was like, man, I'm going to commit to the University of British Columbia or Guelph or Calgary. Those are my 3 schools. Um, and I was pretty confident in my decision. It had taken me a while, but I was pretty confident. And the day before I made that call, I get a call, random number. I'm like, what the hell? I get the call, and it's a coach, linebacker coach from Southeastern Louisiana. He's like, "Yo, we saw your tape, man. Like what's going on? Like, how are you? Like, would you be willing to da da da?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'm gonna call you back tomorrow, same time. I'm gonna give this information to my head coach, and be prepared if he approves. Like, we're gonna offer you." I'm like, "There's no way." What do? I look up the school. I'm looking up everything, and I'm like, "Holy shit!" And in my head, I'm like, "Man, I could use this to leverage other offers." Usually, that's how it goes. It's a little different now, but I was like, I could use this. He called me the next day. They offer me, and they tell me I got a week to accept, or they're pulling my offer. So I'm like, "Fuck, man, I don't care." Like I took one day, and I was like, I talked to my boys that I live with, and I was like, this is what we've all been waiting for, man. So, I'm just gonna take it. I don't care about no other school. I'm just gonna take it. I'm gonna go with it, and that's what happened basically. So, yeah.
That is insane. First of all, you're an incredible storyteller. I'm on like pins and needles this whole time.
Oh, dude, I'm glad, man. I'm glad you enjoyed that because
That
it's the
is
same thing. I relive it every time.
that is so crazy. I mean, I get the okay, I'll give you a little background on us. Ant and I, we started watching like week 11, like October of 2023.
Yeah.
So we're like we don't even have like 2 full seasons of CFL watching in.
Mhm.
And so we get like the hindsight, like I'm watching every Al's game, obviously, like I'm watching you. And it's just your passion, it just jumps through the screen, and so to like your journey, and you're so passionate about it, and to beat to your own drum is like truly awe-inspiring. Like I said, I'm ready. Like this wall could go right now.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but like 135 tackles, 28 for loss, 15 sacks, 6 forced fumbles in 33 games at Southeastern Louisiana. Like that is shocking, insane numbers. So I'm sure after a couple seasons there, you've made your way from like it looked like Dartmouth was like close to Halifax, so not like totally
Yep.
small town, not like crazy rural or anything, but like I mean, kind of. Am I wrong to say like kind of nowhere Canada? Like
Yeah, it's like the people that know, and then if you don't, like I said, we don't have a CFL team. Like, we don't have anything out there. New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, PEI. Who else is out there? That's like that East Coast. We don't really have any. It's like hockey town. We
yeah,
got Sidney Crosby, Nate McKinnon. Those guys went to high school right beside me, like the rival high school. I didn't play hockey. I was like I said, I was like more like a rugby guy. I should have played hockey. Looking
I bet
back,
you'd be
hindsight,
terrifying on skates.
I'm like, damn. But it's so expensive to do that, and then it's such like an exclusive club,
Yeah.
like back home. Like you really have to be in there, and I would consider that more of like it's not really a late blooming sport. I could get away with football. I could learn, but you gotta know how to skate to play hockey, and those are instincts that a lot of the times you can't really be a late bloomer in that. I mean, looking at it from my end. But yeah, man, like you said, it's far out there. Not a lot of people know. Like the claim to fame from there is Trailer Park Boys, the show.
That's funny. That's
That's the
awesome.
claim to fame, right? So, but that's pretty much it. You're right, man. It's pretty out there. So
That's crazy. So you find yourself in southeastern Louisiana. I mean, you're playing the big dogs. They schedule, I think it was like Florida. Do you play? Was it Florida? I
we
should have.
played we played LSU in
Yep.
2018,
Yeah, you
and
sacked
then
Burrow, right?
Yeah, I had a couple. I think I might have I had 2.5 sacks on Burrow,
Yeah.
and forced fumble. I think I had like 8 tackles. I don't know. I had it was a monster game. It was a monster LSU game for sure. And that was, a lot of people don't know, but my first year at Southeastern, they they took a year away from me. So like I
Yeah.
was a sophomore,
Transfer in, right?
so I
Yeah.
only had 3 years, and like kids from Quebec that play in the same system that I played at Champlain, they get all their years. For me, I had no chance, like because I went from Nova Scotia to Quebec and then to the States.
Oh
So
wow.
you don't have a chance. But yeah, I only had 3 years, and that was our first big year. First year ever started. We played. I actually played against Caleb Evans at ULM in
No
2018.
way.
Yeah,
Okay, so do you know he was your first sack in the CFL?
yeah. I didn't.
That's so
Bro,
crazy.
I didn't realize this. I didn't realize this till literally last week on the bus to practice. I looked at Caleb because something was said about ULM, and I was like, "Did I play this guy?" And I remember it was a dynamic quarterback. The game had come down to like the last drive or something like that. It was a crazy game, crazy game.
I feel
I
like I
had
gotta look this up now.
Yeah, it was crazy. I had like 10 tackles from a D lineman, and I remember like it was a nuts game, nuts game. And I looked at him. I said, "Bro, did we play each other?" He was like, "Yeah." But Caleb Evans was my first sack in what was it? It was
It's
game
like 3 or
15 or
4
something.
maybe, or no, yeah, it was
It
later
was at
on.
the end of the season. I had
Yes,
like two
yes,
games
read
left.
that.
They made bets on if I was going to get a sack in the year or not in my rookie year. But yeah, man, Caleb Evans, what a small world, man. Honestly, crazy.
That is so crazy. So, okay, that jumped a little further because I want to then hear about your like getting drafted. The CFL draft is something that really intrigues me,
Hmm.
especially because like Ant is a fan of Ohio State, so and then I'm a Badger fan, so like there's kids like you that come out of Wisconsin, like every offensive lineman ever, who's like from the middle of nowhere kind of
Yeah.
kid. Ant's getting all these high profile kids and doing a lot of winning. But tell me about the process of the CFL draft and NFL stuff because 135 tackles in the 33 games from a defensive lineman is insane. Uh, Talk to me about what NFL and then the CFL option. What was that like? Because you've already had a crazy road from here. I'm sure there's probably a good story in it.
Yeah, and so like when I was coming out, I had a good friend, like that same guy that brought me to Champlain. His good friend is Zeke Sandu. Now I think he's with some agency, I forget, but he used to be with Elite Athlete Management. And so this was like always a driving force for me because that guy was like, "Man, I'm gonna get you in contact with Zeke," and he is Odell's agent. Like I'm like, "Man, that's money in the bank." Like I don't all I need is a shot. If I got
Yeah.
some, and half the battle is knowing the right people, right? Um, so that was my driving force. And going into the draft, like I had good games against LSU. I also played against Ole Miss, and I had another like massive game against Ole Miss. So those are two SEC games, SEC opponents with great rosters that put me in a position to be like, okay, this guy can play against small time talent, and then can also make some waves against big time talent. So he got me in contact with Zeke. I signed with Elite, and then I went to Arizona. I had no plans of the CFL. Honestly, it was back burner, like back burner. And I was like, man, I'm gonna get a shot in the NFL, and I'm good to go. Because I just trust my own work ethic as soon as I get my foot in the door. And I went to Exos in Arizona for, my teachers actually let me do my last semester online, and this is right before COVID, so this is 2019, and they let me do my last semester online. I went there for 3 months, and yeah, man, like I trained with Alex Highsmith, I trained with DJ Dallas, I trained with Zach Bond, Jonathan Taylor, you
Oh
know,
boy.
yeah, Mo Berry, Javon Kinlaw, um, who else was there, man? A lot of just a lot of people from that class are just balling right now, and uh, just great dudes. Who else? Sean Bradley. I don't know if he's playing right now, but he was like a third round pick for the Eagles, and yeah, just a lot of big time talent. So in my eyes, and I was trained to be a linebacker when I was there. So working on my footwork, working on my drops. We're getting really polishing everything together. And I was really locked in on the NFL thing. So COVID happened, and then they said my student visa was up. I had already completed my last semester, so I had no more school. And that last semester from January to May was, or February to May, whenever we started, was I didn't. My visa was up. I had to leave, so I had to leave the United States. In that COVID frenzy, I had to leave. So I went home. I left before my pro day, before Exos could hold their pro day, and I ended up having to go home. What I did though was when I got back to Louisiana to pack my bags, I filmed my own pro day. I had to jump the fence of my school. I set up my phone at the top of the bleachers so you could see me run. And I set up my phone on some other pylons so you could see me do all these tests. Either way, it didn't really work. I don't think they were really like, there was no mini camp invites for people in Canada. There was nothing. Like I couldn't really do anything. Um, and I'm actually going to tell you a really good story that not a lot of people know, and it's actually is a crazy story. Um,
Okay, now I want the edge of my seat again.
yeah. So for this draft thing, I got drafted to the CFL. That was what happened. It was, and it's super low key. It was during COVID. You couldn't even have groups of like five people together. Um, and in Nova Scotia was like the safest place in one of the safest places on earth, they said, because they had all these regulations in place. People were knocking at your door, like walking down the streets to make sure that you didn't have these people. So we did the draft. I got drafted third overall.
Sure, yeah, I was gonna say no. I mean, third overall, no big.
It was good. I mean, there was no difference in pay. Like that's what a lot of people don't understand. Like for the
Really?
first round, there was no difference. And COVID set everything for the CFL back, so we all had the same rookie deal. And Calgary actually had the first pick. And I wanted to go to Calgary. I wanted to play for Corey Mace.
Yeah.
He was the number one guy who recruited me, like, and spoke to me when I was at Exos, and I was like, man, I'm going to the NFL. But I always kept in good contact with him, and we always chatted up, had a great time. And anyways, Calgary traded their first pick, and I'm like, fuck, like, where am I gonna go then? Like, I Toronto had the second, and BC had the third pick. So, and I talked to BC that morning, and they're like, man, if you're there, we're going to pick you. And I'm like, man, this is the first time I even really talked to BC. Why would they pick me? But I'm like, I guess so. So I knew if Calgary didn't pick me first, then I wasn't going to Calgary. And I knew Hamilton wanted me at 5. So I was really like, damn, am I going to go to Hamilton? Like, and it's so important when you get where you get drafted. Like everyone knows that. So I didn't, Calgary traded their pick. Wasn't aware. And I'm like, well, damn. BC now has the first pick. I'm like, are these guys going to pick me first? No, they go with an older linebacker that had Canadian status through some weird rule. They take him. Toronto picks, and then Calgary picks me, and I was so happy, man. My family was happy. We all just watched it at home. There's not like a big thing like
Yeah.
that. I'm assuming in the future it will become a little bit bigger. I think it should be bigger. I think it would be awesome, but just at that time it wasn't. Okay, so fast forward, season gets canceled. All this bullshit happens. I still can't sit with the fact that I haven't gotten a shot in the NFL. One of my best friend, he's from Brooklyn. And I was telling him, I was like, listen, man, I can't sleep at night knowing I'm not going to get a chance. I can't. I don't. Doesn't make sense to me. And I've been back and forth on Instagram with a few coaches from like different teams, like the Jets and the Giants and San Francisco and Baltimore, just random coaches that I found. Um, Doing the same thing I did to get into D1, I'm doing the same thing right now. Talking myself up, finding loopholes, following people, sending emails, whatever. And I'm like, bro, I can't do this. And we're sitting down one day, and I'm like, bro, honestly, what if we just go? Like, what if we just go? Like, I'll just go. And he was like, what do you mean? I'm like, bro, I'll just show up at their facility, and I'll just go. I don't care. And he's like, bro, I'm down. I don't care either. He's the same. He's not. He's like, he's a gun ho guy. Like he's one of your best friends. He's like, man, let's do it. As long as it's not dangerous, And so what we did was we faked our COVID. We got our little tests. We faked our little things. and we drove to New York. He was gonna see his family, and I was gonna be able to, uh, maybe get a shot. I don't know. Shoot.
You're
You
all
can
good.
you can still hear me?
Yep.
So we drove there. We found the facility, found the address. We drove right up to the front. Fuck it. And the guy was like, "You guys are players?" And I was like, "Yes, sir." He let us right in. So,
What?
let us right in. Let us right in. And so we get in there, and I'm like, "Okay, bro, you stay here. I'm going in the practice facility. You stay here, though." So he stays in the car. I walk in, and I'm looking around. I'm like, okay. I see a couple players. I'm like, what's up? What's up? See a couple coaches, I knew this was going to be the harder part, is kind of navigating my way to the top, to get to the head guy, the guy that makes the decisions. I text the guy I've been talking to, D-line coach. I'm like, yo, I'm here. He's taking a while to get back to me, whatever. I don't care. I'm like, okay, I got to move forward, though. I got to show them. So I find one of the coaches, and I'm like, hey, you know where, what did I say? I said, is Coach Judge in today? It was Joe Judge at the time.
What?
Yeah, I'm like, Coach Judge in today? He's like, I think so. I'm not sure. I'm like, oh, okay, it's all good. It's all good. He said, yeah, you're a player, right? I'm like, yeah, I just, new here, so I'm just kind of figuring it out. So he's showing me around this facility, right? He probably thinks I'm some like new whatever. He's showing me around. They got TV over here. This dude's training over there. I'm like, fuck, this gotta hurry up. And as we're walking out of the facility, the coach comes down, and then there's also a security guard as well. But then the security guard, what's he gonna do? He was he was a little dude. He wasn't gonna do anything, but he was just there for security measures. And the coach I'm talking to is like, "Oh man, like I got your message. I didn't know you were actually gonna be here, man. But we just gotta go through the proper channels, to get this done or whatever." And I was like, you know what, man? At least I can sleep at night, knowing that I came here and said something. And I talked to my agent, and I had already signed my deal with Calgary. I don't know the whole back and forth. My agent, I'm not with him anymore, but he had really like began to rub me the wrong way throughout this whole process. Um, and that's just how it went from there. But then we went to the Jets. We tried to do the same thing. It didn't really work. I feel like they must have called and said something, because they were like, no, no. And then, anyways, yeah, that's how that kind of went. But not a lot of people know that story, and that I went to that extent to just try to get a trial or anything. Just see me, and just show you that I want it this bad. And yeah, then I went on to play for Calgary, played there, and yeah, that was that, man. But that's the draft process. That's what happened. So
That is so crazy. I know I've been monopolizing the questions, but I'm like in awe because I think I genuinely mean this. Like I'm gonna draw a comparison, and it's not fair to you because I'm not the athlete that you are. But like when I was younger, I idolized Justin Verlander because they always talked about how he threw like 95 in the seventh inning still, and he like was throwing harder than in the first inning. And
yeah,
for me, being a football fan, watching you. I think that story and the one of how bad you want it, I think you can see that in your play in like the third and fourth quarter because you keep coming, you're always in the passing lanes, you're always ready to make a play. So it is just to hear you talk and your passion, like I said before, and just match your play style is like so eye opening to me. But Ant, I'm sorry. I know I've talked a lot too much. Ant, you get some questions in here.
You're good. You're good. Yeah, so my first question I have is about what it was like learning to play at 15. Because when you're 6, a lot of it is kind of just going through the motions. Like if you're D line, punch, swipe, rip, all that stuff. When you're 15, you have like more resources at your disposal. Kind of. Did you study professional D lineman technique to go through that, or what was the learning process like at 15?
honestly, man, and I'll give you a few examples here that it will probably make you laugh, but this will tell you about the learning curve that I had to go through. I joined high school football to try to be a cool kid, like get the girls, and just like the movies, right? You see like all the movies, like, oh shoot, okay. First day of high school, I'm like, yeah, I'm trying out for a football team, no matter what. And so that's what I did, and I didn't have any idea of anything. Bro, I didn't even watch football, really. like I would see it a little bit, but I didn't have a favorite team. I didn't have an idol, a favorite player. I didn't have anything like that. So when I joined, all I had was I was just, I was a little bit bigger and stronger than your average guy at my grade or whatever, my age. And so I didn't really like, also the coaching isn't that, it's not that like the coaching level is not that high up. So really what I was doing was hitting and running. I didn't have any moves. I didn't have anything whatsoever. And I didn't know the rules about like what pads to put on, how to put on pads, what to have for cleats. Um, like so much so my first game playing in a football game in high school, one of the guys, as a joke, told me to go block the kickoff. This is what he told me. And I've said this before, and like when I've first started talking about football, he told me to go block the kickoff, right? So I'm like, front line, kickoff return. And I'm looking, he's like, go block it, go block it. And I'm like, it's like, go block it, man. So as the kicker starts running up to kick the kickoff, what do? I start running towards, and I block that shit.
That is awesome.
Yeah, so I blocked it. And obviously, right, it's a delay, and the ref's like, and then he blows and there's a flag, and I'm like, shit, I
That's a
blocked that.
penalty? What?
I'm like, I blocked the hell out of that shit. I thought it was like, yo, this is that easy. But that's like when you're learning at 15, you don't really know. Like, first of all, you don't. It's football's already a hard game to learn rule wise as like an adult. You know how many people you talk to that don't watch football? Like maybe not there, but here, like my girlfriend, she has no idea anything. Like my mom is still just learning. So at 15, that's how I felt. I was like, I had no rules. I know nothing. All I know is just run and hit. I didn't study anything. I had more important things in my mind to do than study football. I was like, I'm already decent. Let me just run and hit and grab people and tackle them. So that was like learning at 15. Also, one of my like all the vets like played this prank on me one day, and they were like, yo, it's lowers only. It's lowers only. Like no pads, just lower pads. I was like, okay, shoot, man. I had an appointment, so I had come late and I had run out with just lower pads on, and everyone else has full pads. And my coach just screamed as loud as he could. Dude. He's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And everyone else is like laughing. I'm like, "What, man? They told me it was lowers. They said it was only lowers." But thinking back, I'm like, "Why the fuck would it be only lowers, man?" So
That's so funny, dude.
yeah, dude, that's learning at 15, man. Big learning curve, man. But like you said, a lot more resources. Like your brain is a little bit more developed. You can understand and see and instinctually act a little bit faster. So I felt like it helped me when I learned because I could do everything a little bit like, higher tempo, higher speed. And I'm not burnt out. Like I'm just learning, right? So when I'm learning those moves, I can swipe a little bit harder and just my body just feels it a little bit better than maybe if I build wrong habits as a kid where I'm not doing it the right way and maybe I get burnt out or maybe my body can't adjust. It could adjust really fast to what I learned when I learned at 15, but there was definitely a large learning curve.
That's fair. What was the adjustment? I guess front seven guys, or specifically on the line, there's less of an adjustment going from either American to Canadian or Canadian American. But there is still some adjustment there. There's different rules, different field size. What was the adjustment like having relatively just learned the Canadian way to then go and play it the American way?
Yeah, and actually, funny thing, when we played at my Champlain here in Quebec, this like almost like prep style college, they play like a mixture of rules, but on the line there's no yard.
Okay.
So like it worked in my favor. I'm like, yeah, I'm fast off the ball, bang, I can get off the ball. So when I went down south, there was no yard. I was locked in immediately. Obviously, when I went down south, I played like the game is still different with the downs and the amount of downs, and then there's no waggle with the receiver. So if you ever have to drop into coverage, it's it's a little bit easier to cover, I feel like, and there's more use of tight ends and shit like that. So that was a learning curve, but I'll say like coming back to the CFL, tough, man, because all I've done is rush the passer with no yard. I've been in 3-point stands. I've been in two, but like I can get off the ball fast, and it's easier to see. Let's say you're keying an O lineman's hand or foot. you're that 1 yard. It's almost, you can see a little bit better when you're closer. Just periff it a little bit better, right? Or periff the ball a little bit better when you're right on the line. When you're a yard back, you have to adjust your angle to the O line. The ball's coming out quicker. Obviously, there's less down, so it's a pass heavy league. Like, you don't have a lot of running backs that are, you know, running. We're not running all game, barely running at all. Some teams will run it less than 10 times a game, and so it was a big adjustment on the line, figuring that out. And then also, we drop a lot. If you watch those Al's games, and even in Calgary, we've dropped defensive linemen into coverage. So you're dropping back, and then bang, you got someone with a 10-yard head start. You got your number 3, a 10-yard head start, flying past you. It's a big difference to when it's a stagnant start, like in the NFL. The motions, man, like you're motioning from trips. Now you got solo one side, and it's a lot. When you're, especially as a young dude coming out, and you're on all 4 special teams, you punt and punt return all game in the CFL. Those last 3 minutes are killers at the end of the half and the end of the game. And yeah, it's just it was a tough adjustment period. But now, obviously now it's a little bit easier, but the adjustment, I would say it's crazy. And you see a lot of NFL guys come CFL, and you're like, whoa, like, how could they not make it? And it's just because it's a different game, man. They could be, great athletes, but this game is different. And it takes a very specific skill set to be able to play in between these positions. The field's bigger. We got the extra guy that we have to adjust with. And it's just a different game, man. So yeah, I'll say the adjustment was big for sure.
That's interesting that you say that about the differences, because I forget who it was for Edmonton last year, but he had just come from the NFL, and I feel like I didn't hear from him at all during the season, as far as like making big plays. So that's an interesting point you make with the yard and everything like that. I did want to ask too. I noticed the last couple of years, like Betts had that 18 sack year. I think the year before that there was like 10 guys with like 10 plus sacks. Last year, you had 7, tied for second with a couple guys, and then there's like 4 or 5 guys with 8. This year, I don't remember. I think it's a guy from Toronto has 5. You're tied for second with 3 sacks. That's kind of, I would say, like the casuals, quote unquote, like defensive line, that number, that tackles for loss, right? That everybody's going to go to. Do you think the line play has gotten better over these last couple years? Or if that's just kind of coincidental?
I think it changes year to year, man. I think like last year, it was a real big focus on quick game. Like, you couldn't really get any sacks. The quarterback's getting it, throwing it out, getting it, throwing out, screen, 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 quick game, quick game. So it's tough to get sacks, especially in the CFL, right? With that yard, it has to be like a super clean win, bang, win, and the quarterback can't have an outlet. So a lot of times, like, it's tough. Like last year, it was tough to get those sacks, man. Like I had a ton of TFLs, but at the end of the year, people that judge and people that look at things, they don't care about TFLs from a D lineman. That's just how it is. They care about sacks. And a lot of times, like, if you look at it this year, I think, yeah, like you said, the leader is 5, but you got to take into account as well. That guy that has 5, he had 3 in one game.
Right.
So here we are at week 6, and a 5 is the leading number, but it's not. It's just kind of dwindling down. Like, man, there's years prior, the numbers were higher, and I think like when Betts had 18 sacks in that year, like their offense was cooking. He got off to a hot start, and he had 18, but I forget what the other numbers were. Like, I think the next closest was maybe like 13, 14.
Yeah, it was like 12 or something. I think there was a couple guys with like 12,
Yeah.
couple with 10.
Yeah, and that's how it goes. I think, yeah, last year was a down year, but the quick game was at an all-time high. And I honestly think, like, this year it might come back down because now defenses have learned to adjust to the quick game. That was last year. So I think the numbers are already, starting to increase. But I think I wouldn't say it's an increase in D line play. I think a lot of the D linemen are just ballers. But when you can learn to take them out of the game, like they did last year, a lot of times, Now defenses can adjust. So maybe you're going to take those quick throws away. Maybe you're going to take those quick options away and give the D line a little bit more time to work. And I think you're seeing that this year. Yeah, I think you're seeing that a little bit more this year. We'll see at the end of the year what the numbers are. I assume they're going to be higher than 8. But yeah.
I have one kind of related to that. So growing up, I played offensive line. I played left tackle.
Mhm.
I wasn't good. I want that on.
I was a center, 5'9" center. So
Hey, man. Somebody got to do it, man.
somebody got to do it. Not my ass. That's for sure.
I'm curious, who's the best offensive lineman you've played against? I guess I'd ask that in both the American and college rules because it is so much different. Is there, or do you have any memory of like a best player that you remember playing when you played American style, and then since you've been in the CFL?
An American style, man. I played against, I'm gonna go. I don't know. I don't really remember the names of the guys I played against in college. A lot of them were small school guys, and then when I did play in the SEC games, I was killing them. So I wouldn't say they're the best. I did play with a guy who now plays in the NFL. So I'll give him his. Hold on one sec. My dog is trying to go under the table here. I did play with a guy. Go under. That now plays for the Patriots. His name is City Sal. So, I'm going to give him his props because he's a huge dude. And I know if I went against him, he'd probably be the best guy I played against in the American style game. In the CFL, there's a couple really good guys. I would say I'll give my props to Stanley Bryant.
Yeah.
You can't really rule him out no matter what. I've never gotten a sack off him. So, and I know he's widely, viewed as like the best, CFL offensive lineman ever. So I give my props to him. I think Jamarcus Hardrick is a good offensive lineman. When I did go against him, I just think he's part of that original Winnipeg system. Um, who else, man? And then I'll give my props to the guys on our team. Jamar McGloster and Nick Callender. I think they're great. I don't think they give up a lot. And, it's great to go up against those guys in practice as well, not have to go against them in the game. I know when we played Montreal when I was in Calgary, we didn't get no sacks. They were offensive line of the week. So, yeah, those are the guys that I'll say.
That's cool. I like hearing the process behind it because, like, from the O-line's perspective, the guys who get sacks are known. Your names are out there. We kind of know how to prep for you, but I guess from the other side, outside of people who are in it or really big fans, nobody knows the O-lineman because that's the nature of the game. So I was curious if there were, when you guys are prepping for Saskatchewan and you have to go against Jamarcus Hardrick, if there's a different level of prep certain weeks versus others.
I wouldn't say the prep is different. That's a good thing because the good thing to mention. If your prep is different any week, like I do the same thing every week. I don't stray. If your prep is different, then you're gonna play different. Like you're leaving things in the fray. Like, oh, like I didn't do this week, so this could happen, or I did this more this week, so this might. Like you're doing the wrong shit. So I prep the same way, and we prep the same way as far as I'm concerned. But we know all their names. We know where they went to school. We have their college film. We have their pro film for every team. We have their wins and losses. We have their, plays that they're maybe not, like not dirty plays, but we have plays like where, they might be doing a little bit of extra shoving, like what to look out for, how to beat them, what's effective, even the game flow, like how things, how they are over the term of the game, how things change when they're up versus down, field position, like how they play closer to their own end zone versus how they play when they're a little bit more free, a little bit maybe they're at the 30 plus 30, right? And they can kind of chill. They when they're up versus when they're down score wise is a big thing, or when it's obvious run or obvious pass, all that shit, man. We watch. So we know in detail as a defense, we know in detail. We spend all of our time doing that stuff. And it's the CFL is a small league as well, man. Like we know all these guys. Like half the guys on Sask, I literally was just talking to them 25 minutes ago, talking to good luck today, good luck today. Like Tommy Stevens, we got Therma's over there, you got Mike over there, Mace is over there, Mueller's over there, Mayer's over there. I'm probably even forgetting a couple guys. Like, and I know Tama Udon, Bertrand Udon. I know him from Champlain. We went to Champlain together. So um, there's just it's such a small league, man. And yeah, everybody knows everybody, but during the week we know those guys' names. I don't know about the outside, on but we know those guys for sure.
So you've already given us way more time than we've asked for. 25 minutes. I'm glad you haven't looked too closely at the clock because you've given us a little bit more than that.
Man, I'm not.
So I do want to talk about this seems new. I only saw it because you posted it on your Insta while we were going back and forth. Berglund Bridge, what's going on there? Talk to me about that.
I just started that. I've been thinking about it for a while. Like I've been doing things like for that purpose for a while. Ever since college, I've been doing things like that. Just small things. It's not like I'm not doing it for any gain, but wherever I'm able to go and speak about maybe about my journey that could give hope to someone else. Maybe they're thinking of maybe they're stuck in a hard place and they're thinking about, oh, like this maybe not for me. Maybe I could go speak, and I've spoken at Champlain. I've spoken at my old high schools. I've done, I've worked with Special Olympics in the summer, or not in the summer, but in the off season, like the winter break, spring break. What else have I done, man? I've just done a flag football camp. We just finished today. So just all those things that I'm looking just to do within the community and the multiple communities. I'm in Montreal. I'm in Nova Scotia a lot in the off season. So I want to get more into that and build that. I see a lot of foundations that are done, like the Eric Armstead Foundation. Um, there's another really big one. I know DJ Dallas does a lot of stuff as well, like that I've watched and I've looked at. I want to create something, a community of individuals and players that we could go out and help anybody, and be almost like a mentorship program in the end. So that's something I'm working towards, and yeah, just do a lot of little things in the community. And I'd like to I have someone who helps run everything, and maybe put me in good positions within the community to reach out and do those things. So yeah, I'm going to continue to do that, and um, just an awesome thing that I just love doing. I just love being around the community and hanging out with the guys, throwing the football, and maybe giving a little bit back to people that don't have access to it. So yeah.
Absolutely, I love it. I mean, it was awesome. It seemed like you said, newer couple posts in, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah.
So everybody is it? It's just can you give the at?
Yeah, it's at Berglund Bridge, the Berglund Bridge, I believe. I gotta check that, man. I should. I know it's Berglund Bridge. I just don't know.
Yeah,
If
that
it's,
should be that should get them there for sure. Or if they go follow you, I know it's posted in your bio. So I wanted to make sure I
Yeah.
mentioned that. Not that
Yeah,
we're
it's
the biggest, but
it's the Berglund Bridge. It's the Berglund Bridge.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that. Like I said, we're not the biggest in the world, but anybody you can
Yeah.
touch or give an idea to is a good thing you're doing.
Yeah. For sure.
I want to ask about the Montreal defense. It's been very good. They added you, which has been awesome as a fan of the team to watch. What is that defense like? Because I feel like there's a lot of alphas. You got Ty Bev, who I did a phone interview with last year. You've got Sankey, who's an alpha, and you got MAD back there. What's the defensive room like?
Yeah, I'm gonna be, it's just it's a war room full of vets, man, full of commanders, full of just dogs, man. Like these are like war hardened generals in here. Everyone together. Like when you watch a movie and you're like, man, there's too many main characters. There can't be this many main guys. But there is. In this movie, in this defense, there is. And you want to talk, we got Sean Oakman there, we got Lual there, we added Joshua Archibald, we're getting Mustafa back. We got, like you said, Sank Bev, we got Jeff Kantaroku, and he's a beast. We got
I love him. He was awesome.
bro. Bro, I'm telling you, this kid right here, man, and he's not even a kid, but I shouldn't even say it, but he's a dog, man. Like he is, he really is, and he's one of the best kept secrets. Honestly, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised in the next couple of years, like he's massive deal, like highest paid defensive player. Honestly, he's that good.
Yeah.
And I do believe in him that much. But we got Najee Murray as well. We got Wesley Sutton.
Yeah.
Wesley Sutton, dog. Ento, dog. Burns, dog. Like these guys are all beasts, and they would start on any other team. And
Mhm.
so, first and foremost, man, and then we got Thorpe, who's calling the plays, and like we all have so much trust in our defense wouldn't be what it is without him to bring it all together, to wrap it all together, and give us these schemes so everyone can eat. And that's what I say. Like our defense it's not even a bend don't break defense. Like our defense is like piranhas in the water from the start of the game. And if you like all these, even these past two games have just been a little blemish. If you watch it from an entire perspective, a holistic view, you're like, oh wow, they lost the game. Huh? But if you watch it from like a really cerebral point of view, where you're like, okay, this went wrong, this went wrong. Usually there's 6 plays in a game
Mhm.
that go wrong for either team that kind of determine the way it goes, especially in a close game. Penalties, blown coverages, blown run gaps where there's explosive plays. So that's what it comes down to. And if you watch our defense, we might give up maybe one a game that needs to be fixed, right? Because the last game is the only thing that matters. But our defense, man, we don't give up much. We don't give up much. And I think last game it was like 18 points maybe. And then like the field goal at the end, which I'm not gonna put on our defense, but I just think, man, our defense is a really close knit, uh, hardworking, nasty group. We preach running to the ball, and that's another thing. If you watch our defense on the field in the game, the whole picture should be filled with Montreal jerseys.
Yeah.
Oh, no matter what side it is, there should always be someone, and we're always finishing with the ball in our hands. We're gonna grab the ball, and we're gonna pick it up regardless. Whether
Yeah.
it's an incomplete pass, whether it's the ball is just dropped on the ground, receiver drops on the ground, we're picking it up. And so yeah, I mean, like a lot of people counted the defense out. They want to look at other defenses, but we've been together, man. We've really learned the lessons of last year, even the year before. We've grown. We've established a identity that is noticed by a lot of people in the league, and will continue to grow over these next. What do we have? 13 weeks.
A lot of weeks left. I'm
Yeah.
getting hyped. That's for sure. I'm an
Mhm.
absolute look. I like didn't have a team, and then we had Caleb on, and then and then the Owls won the Grey Cup. Unfortunately, you were not on the roster at that point, which hurts
Mhm.
me to say out loud. But
Tough, man. Yeah,
but
that hurts
then,
me too.
2014 or 2024, I should say. I think the Owls, you guys won the first game, and then I was like, obviously, I have to be an Owls fan because we had Caleb on. He came on after they won the Grey Cup as well. So it's such a fun team to watch, and knowing, like I said, like you pushing up front, knowing that Sankey and Ty Bev are lurking somewhere, and then if the ball is going to go deep, knowing that MAD is going to just probably knock it down, probably pick it off. It's fine. It's cool. It's whatever. It's just such a fun defense to watch, and I think lucky for Ant and I, that's something that we can appreciate probably more than the regular fan. But the way that you talk and your presence is awesome. I can tell the Berglund Bridge and the people who are going to be benefiting from that in the future are getting a good one. So I'm just so glad you came on today because you're so intentional about what you do. I'll pass it off to you because I've been talking a lot again.
I got one question. I usually like to end on a fun question,
Yep.
and
Oh, yeah, we got to
have
do the fun stuff too.
have to do every
Yeah.
episode. I have to get at least one dig into a particular team. So I have two questions. What is the most intimidating stadium you've ever played in? And then what is the least, and why is it Princess Auto Stadium in Winnipeg?
Yeah, Winnipeg's not the most intimidating stadium ever. I'll never give them that. I think they're allowed. They got good fans, but The most, I would say, where are we at, man? I don't know if it's the most intimidating. I don't think it is, man. The most intimidating, honestly, the most intimidating is Montreal. But that's if you want
You
another
damn
team.
right it is.
Yeah, if you want to, and people will agree with that.
They're trying to take our horns away, dog.
People still bring them in. They'll never get rid of them, man. They'll
Yeah,
never get rid of them.
I love it.
But I do think Sask. I do respect the fan base of Sask. They don't have anything else, man. This is everything to them. And they'll tell you, there's no NHL team up there. There ain't nobody else. It's them. And another hard stadium to play in is BC Place. Out there, it's hard to win out there. I don't know why, but it is a different. It is a different style. And I would say the least, wow, straight up, not the least intimidating, but where I like to play, I like to play in Ottawa, man. I do like to play in Ottawa. I don't know why, but it's been a pretty good place for me to play. So
I'm gonna translate that. Hey, Drew Brown, watch your ass, brother.
Hey, hey, don't hit Drew Brown too much. We got a little bit of money on MOP here.
Drew Brown, man, Drew Brown. He's a great dude though. Wish the best for him, man. Honestly.
Oh, I love it. No, you're such a good sport. The other thing that and you're by the way, we should have mentioned this at the top. You're our first native Canadian player we've had on. We've had a couple of friends who are outside the game that or not on the field, I should say, who are Canadian. But you're our first Canadian native player on the show, so thank you.
I'll take it, yes, sir.
So we gotta know, and I bigger guys. So we gotta know when we go to Tim Hortons. What's the order?
The order. Okay, so here's number one thing. You're gonna have to get a sausage farmer's wrap.
That's the answer every time, everybody.
You're gonna have to get that for sure. In terms of donuts, you're gonna have to get a Boston cream. That's kind of you have to get that. Or you get like an apple fritter as well. That's acceptable. Sour cream glazed donut.
Okay.
Fire. But yeah, Tim Hortons is throwing a lot. They're making pizzas and stuff now, and all these other things. But I'm gonna stick with you. Got to get the sausage farmer's wrap, man. That's number one.
Are you now? Don't take this the wrong way if I'm wrong, but like I feel like you are, like your Instagram, like you have your your like pictures of playing and your Montreal stuff, but you also have like you like to throw fits, if you will. Yeah. I feel like you're a stylish guy, so I feel like that means you're likely to be a big coffee guy. I noticed there's no coffee order in there.
Yeah, you know what, man? I'm not really a coffee guy, dude.
Really?
I'm not. I do like myself a nice nice fresh drink, right? Non-alcoholic, of course. But I do like a nice fresh juice or something like that. But coffee, I've never really been a coffee guy, man. It's just never been now I'll drink it, sure. Like don't have a problem with it. But I would say I'm more of a tea guy if I could have coffee or tea. I'm more of a tea guy. I don't know why. It's just never really stuck with me, and I never really seen the benefits of coffee. Everyone's like, "Oh yeah," but I never really hit me, and I was like, "Well, this kind of sucks, man." So I guess I'm saving $2.50 every other day. I guess like for a coffee. But, yeah,
you gotta keep that stipend, brother.
Yeah, for real.
No, I think you bring enough of your own energy. I don't think you need the fake stuff. That's for
Oh
sure.
man, I've had the I went through a little stint with pre-workout here when I was in my rookie year, just to kind of like
I bet you were just.
and I was just raring, man. They used to call me like Therm from Sask now. They used to call me Spaz in my rookie year, dude.
Oh, dude, we talked about nicknames. I would go like with the eye black and everything. We can make Spaz a thing.
They used to call me Spaz. I don't know. It just sounds so crazy. I'm like, and in my head before the game, I'm in that place. Like I'm in that dark place. Like I brought myself there. Like you can say Spaz, like I'm there, but I'm more of a calm crazy. I'm not more of like a calm, calm violent. When I was my rookie year, man, and I was on those special teams and I was coming in I started at the end of the year. Oh my gosh. I pretty much displaced my hip, jumping over short yardage, just tackling, just out going for short yardage, just ripping people back. Like, yeah, it was crazy, man. It's a crazy year, man. Crazy. But yeah, that's what Therm used to call me. So
All right. Well, we can workshop the nickname.
figure
And
it out. And you know what? Hey, you can say it, and then if it sticks, it sticks.
I mean, like in my head, like I'm thinking, like I said, like ice. So there's got like it's really close, like Isaacberg,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
there's something there. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm
You
reaching.
know, in junior high, before I even started playing football at all, there was one kid that always walked me in the hallway, and he was like, "What's up, Isaac?" And for obvious reasons, I'm like, I know what you're doing, but I was like, dude, that's not even funny. Like everyone around like was like not laughing. I was like, dude, that joke sucks. Like it's not even. I don't even get it. But then like, yeah, someone said that to me again, and it reminded me, like this dude every day he would walk up and be like, Isaac. I'm like, dude, what does that mean? And they just walk by. But yeah, man, there's a lot of different perspective names you could go. But yeah, I mean, it's you just gotta let it kind of happen. You just gotta
Yeah,
kind of let it happen, right?
you're right. I can't force it. It'll come. It'll come naturally in
It
due
will.
time.
It will. It
I
will.
do wanna. I do want to do. I did look up while we've been talking. In Louisiana Monroe, not to give Caleb too much credit. I would never do that.
He went crazy, man. He went crazy.
He 34-31, you guys lost. Unfortunately, I probably shouldn't have had to say that part. But
Happens.
Caleb, per what the computer says, Caleb ran one in from 11 yards out with 37 seconds left to take the
Yeah. Yeah, it was
that
disgusting.
he crazy. 35 of 53. He was absolutely slinging it. He was getting ready for the CFL all those past
He was
times.
just yeah, it was a disgusting game for him, man. I'm telling you, it was the game was crazy.
Yeah, not to give him his flowers. He's not even here. It's whatever. He goes to me. It's fine.
It's true. Yeah, it's
No,
true. Sorry, Kevin.
I'm giving him shit. Now that he'll listen to this anyways. But oh man, that's I think Ant, did you have anything else? Did we want to do playlists? If he's got are you a music guy before a game?
I kind of am. I haven't been in the past. It's okay. It's okay. Sorry, my girlfriend just got back. Uh,
Oh, good.
it's I'm not really as of late. I've honestly been listening to house music, bro.
Okay.
Like on my warm ups, and I don't listen to it pre-game. But when I go up, like I'll go out like a couple hours before the game, and I'll do my own like mobility on the field, and that's when I'll really like just house music. Well, obviously, this stuff, man.
There he is.
These guys are crazy, man. These guys are crazy. But yeah, more of like a house music guy as of late. I like Drake as well.
Okay.
I like Brent Fayez. I like what else do I like, man? 50 Cent.
Okay.
Throw
A
on
little
some
old
50
school. You're a
Cent.
little
Yeah, get you in the mood, right? Many men.
many. Yeah.
Wish death upon me. It's a good one.
I love it. Well, hey, thank you so much for coming on for us. It's been awesome. You are cut from a different cloth, and I know that's a very overused thing these days. But we've talked to a couple different guys. I've gotten a chance to interview other guys, and your energy is infectious, man. So I really appreciate it.